In this video, I'm going to give you some details and specifications on the PISCIFUN ICX inline ice fishing reel. I'll put a link in the description below how to buy this off Amazon. This one I have brand new mounted on the rod so I can show you in detail a couple of the different features on it, what I like about it and what I dislike about it. So this reel normally runs around $44.99. Right before Christmas I saw it jump up to $49.99. So it's relatively on the bottom scale as far as inline ice fishing reels. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the camera in up close and talk about some of the pros and cons of this reel. First thing I want to show you is the trigger. I have the ICX right here on the left, and in the middle is the ICX Carbon, and over here is the Frost. So if you look at the triggers, you see how the ICX, the trigger, is way left. Now this is a left-handed reel, so you're going to be flipping this trigger with your right index finger. It's quite a ways away from the reel, so your finger's going to be crossing over the line. If you look at the Carbon, it's just a slightly bit closer over to the rod. If you look at the Frost, this one's actually placed perfectly to flip the trigger and let out some line. So one thing I don't like about this is this trigger is way too far to the left. So another thing with this reel is if you have a heavy jig, you're probably going to get some backlash if you're not paying attention. So you're going to flip the trigger, out comes the line. As you can see, it freewheels and it spins extremely well. So if you have a heavy jig on and that thing's going down to the bottom and you don't catch it, you're going to wind up with a bird's nest right here. This has a 2.6 to 1 gear ratio, and what that means is for every one time around you turn the crank, this reel is turning about 2.6 times, and with this small diameter, it's going to be retrieving around 15 inches of line per revolution. The thing about this reel that I found was pretty decent was the drag. It actually has a really easy to set drag. It does not have a clicker though, so if it's got a big fish on there and it's pulling out line, it's not going to be clicking like a normal type of bait caster or spinning reel. It comes in at around 5 ounces. So it's extremely nice light reel. It's got a really nice feel to it. It's one of the smoothest reels I've tested this winter. Sometimes you pull a trigger, you let out your line, you let go, and a lot of times it didn't engage right if you didn't kind of flick it like that. If you just let it out real slow, you can feel a lot of grinding in here like something didn't catch right. So you have to flick that to get it to engage correctly. Sometimes I'd let go, let line out, go to start cranking, and the reel never started turning. I had to kind of flip this a couple times to get to start bringing in line. All the reels I've been testing are mounted on a St. Croix Mojo ice rod. It's a great little rod. It runs around $50, and no matter what reel you mount on it, it feels really nice. Now my conclusion of the ICX reel, it is super smooth. It is as smooth as butter when you're retrieving line. The only thing I didn't quite like is how far over this release is, and it didn't quite fully engage a few times when I was using it. Another thing is, if you have on a heavy jig, chances are you're going to get a bird nest in here at some point during the day. So this works really well for a lightweight jig. Now if you're going to use a kind of a cheap rod, cheap reel with a light jig on it, this is going to work perfect. But if you're going to be switching between light and heavy jigs, you may want to upgrade a reel to one with a magnetic system on it. So if you're looking for a relatively inexpensive, nice reel, just getting into ice fishing maybe, just be careful on the backlash. This is a nice little reel. Hope you guys found this review helpful and informational, and thanks for watching.